what in the 12 Angry Men kind of bullshit is this? The judge in Harvey Weinstein's retrial on his 3 sexual assault cases declared a mistrial today because the foreperson of the jury refused to go back into the jury room because he was afraid. Because he was afraid of the other jurors. Now, Weinstein's already been convicted on these charges one time, but a court of appeals overturned that conviction and sent it back down for a retrial due to some errors made by the lower court the first time. And there are 3 charges. There are 2 serious charges and then 1 not quite as serious. And the jury's already reached a verdict on the 2 serious ones, like 1 guilty and 1 not guilty. And they're still continuing to deliberate on the 5th day on this lower charge. And the foreperson asked to speak to the judge yesterday and said, look, I don't want to go back in there. They're threatening me. I don't feel safe. They're trying to get me to change my verdict. And when I said no, they told me they were going to catch me on the outside. Catch me outside. Now, this wasn't the first time that a jury member had asked to speak to the judge. On Friday, a totally different juror asked to speak to the judge and told her twice that he had heard people talking about the case and he didn't feel like it was a fair process and he wanted out. Mistrial motion made, denied. Then on Monday, the foreperson again went to the judge and said, hey, I've heard them discussing this case and discussing elements that are from his past and not relevant to this case. Motion for mistrial made, denied. And then he comes back yesterday and says, look, I don't feel safe now. The same foreperson, I don't feel safe now. They threatened to beat my ass unless I change my vote. They taking this shit real serious in there. Mistrial motion made and denied again yesterday. Even when Harvey Weinstein stood up and said, look, I'm the person on trial here. This is my life and this isn't fair. Even when it's just insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. And I kid you not, that is what Harvey Weinstein's lawyer said. Insane in the Okay, you can make a better argument than that. But when they all came back to court this morning, the foreperson of the juror was being separated. The judge called him in and said, do you feel like you can go back into the jury room? And he said, no. That was the end. Mistrial declared. Now, he's got this conviction for the heavy charge that carries up to 25 years, and he's still facing this one that carries up to 4 years. They say they're going to retry it. I hope you get a jury that doesn't lose their ever-loving minds in a jury room. So when you go in to be on a jury, make sure that you got the patience enough to sit in there for the long haul, and also make sure that you can make a independent verdict that has nothing to do with anything that is not put in front of you by the lawyers and the judge. You swore that in your oath when you start. You gotta follow that. Just listen to the evidence and deliberate on that. And don't threaten to beat people's ass, okay?